What's up guys, in this video we'll go over how to replace the Subaru Impreza GC8 gauge cluster lights. First thing you will want to do is lower the steering wheel column to give as much clearance as possible. Then you will remove the two screws that hold the plastic surround. You can use a stubby Phillips head screwdriver or a ratchet wrench. Once screws have been removed, you will want to gently push the bottom side of the plastic up and over the steering column plastic trim. The plastic is flexible so it shouldn't be an issue, but be careful not to apply too much force and crack the plastic. We all know these Subaru parts are becoming more and more difficult to obtain. Next you will have three screws that hold the gauge cluster. One at the top and two at the bottom, one on each side. The top screw is easy to get to, but for the bottom ones, you will want some kind of extension in order to reach them comfortably. After removing the screws that hold the gauge cluster, you will be able to wiggle it around a bit and tilt it with the top facing inwards. The reason you want to do this is to give yourself access to the three connectors sitting on the top of the cluster. Each of the three connectors has a tab that you can press with your finger. They are not very stiff and so no special tools are required. You simply push on the tab and pull the connector out with the other hand. Once all three connectors have been disconnected, you can raise the bottom part of the cluster over the steering wheel's plastic trim and slide it out. The bulbs that you will need to replace in order to cover all the gauges and clock are here, 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 and a large one here. If you want to know what each bulb is in charge of, then you can remove the socket and use a flashlight to see what lights up when you put the flashlight over the hole. The sockets simply require a quarter turn and then they can slide right out. The bulb itself just needs pulling on to get it out of the socket. Here you can see I have these aftermarket blue LED lights. For the factory matching look, I went for these warm white LEDs. Now do take note. After replacing all the lights, what you will want to do is make sure everything lights up before screwing everything back into place. To do this, you can connect the right-hand connector only, turn the ignition key and lights on, and see that everything lights up. If not, you can now easily disconnect the cluster, remove it, and simply rotate the socket that isn't lighting up 180 degrees and then slide it back in. The bulbs are directional, and so sometimes this is required. Once confirming that everything works properly, you can slide the cluster back into place and mount it with its three screws. Put the plastic trim back in the same way that it was removed, and do take your time when putting everything back so as not to damage anything. Oh yes, and don't worry about your parking lights not switching off, you just need to push the button on the top of the steering column trim. If you'd like to see another how-to video, then you can click the one on the screen. Hope you found this helpful. Feel free to let me know in the comments if there are any other installation videos you would like me to do. Thank you very much for watching and see you in the next one.